when someone finds their reason again. There are people who stop believing in things quietly. Not dramatically, not with some defining moment of collapse. Just gradually, over time, through a series of small disappointments that pile up so slowly they barely notice it happening. One day, they realize they have stopped expecting much from life. Stopped expecting much from love, and somewhere along the way, they made peace with that. Or at least, they told themselves they did. They learned to live smaller, safer. They stopped reaching towards things that could hurt them and started building walls that looked from the outside remarkably like independence, like strength, like someone who had simply figured out that wanting too much was a kind of foolishness they had outgrown, and then they met you. What nobody tells you about people who have quietly given up on love is that they do not announce it. They do not walk around looking broken or sad or obviously closed off. They function beautifully. They laugh, they show up. They are often the most charming people in the room because charm for them became a way of connecting without risking anything real. They learned how to be present without being vulnerable, how to be warm without being open, how to give just enough of themselves. They give just enough of themselves that nobody would ever suspect how much they were holding back. And that system worked for a long time until you walked into their life and quietly dismantled it without even trying. Here is the psychological truth that hides beneath everything. This person's feels for you. The truth that even they may not have fully articulated to themselves yet. You did not just make them feel attraction. You made them feel something they had genuinely stopped believing was still available to them. Hope, not the optimistic, easy kind of hope that comes when something is going well, the deeper kind. The kind that arrives after loss, the kind that feels almost dangerous because you know exactly what it costs when it disappears. That kind of hope does not arrive gently. It arrives like a crack in a wall you have spent years reinforcing, small at first, barely noticeable, and then suddenly you realize the whole structure is shifting. All that is what you did to this person. You cracked something open that they had sealed shut. And now they are standing in the middle of that opening, feeling everything they had so carefully arranged not to feel, and they genuinely do not know what to do with any of it. And this is the part that people around them do not fully understand. The people watching this person suddenly come alive in a way they have not seen before. The friends who notice they are different lately, the family members who sense something has changed, what they are witnessing is not just someone falling in love. They are watching someone return to themselves, because that is what loving you has done for this person. It has not just added something new to their life, it has restored something they had lost. Something fundamental, the belief that they are capable of feeling this deeply, the belief that life still has the capacity to surprise them in the best possible way, the belief that they are worthy of something that feels this good And that restoration, that quiet, profound coming back to life is the most frightening thing they have ever experienced. Well, think about that for a moment, because it seems like it should be simple. Finding someone wonderful should feel wonderful, and it does. But underneath the joy, underneath the excitement, underneath all the daydreaming and the replaying of conversations and the ridiculous smile that appears on their face when they think about you, underneath all of that is a fear that most people will never talk about. The fear of becoming someone who hopes again, because hoping means risking. And this person knows from personal experience what it feels like when something you hoped for does not come through. They know the specific weight of that. The way it does not just hurt, it confirms something. A quiet, terrible voice inside that says, see, this is why you stopped expecting things. Well, this is why you kept yourself safe. And now here they are, hoping again, wanting again, feeling again, and they cannot stop it. They have tried, probably. Well, there have likely been moments where they pulled back slightly, where they went quiet, where they attempted to recalibrate and remind themselves not to want this so much, not to need this so much, well, not to let this matter so much. But you kept mattering. You probably have no idea that simply existing in this person's life has been an act of healing for them. Well, not because you did anything extraordinary, not because you performed some grand gesture or said exactly the right thing at exactly the right moment, but because you were real. Well, because you were consistent, because something about who you are made them feel for the first time in a very long time, that being fully themselves was not just acceptable, but genuinely welcome. And that is rarer than people realize. Most of us spend our lives around people who love a version of us, a curated version, a comfortable version. The version that does not ask too much, or feel too deeply, or take up too much emotional space. And we learn to live inside that version because it is what gets us accepted. It is what keeps things smooth. Occasionally, rarely, someone comes along who makes you feel like the whole of you is what they want. Not the edited version, not the carefully managed version. The real one, the complicated, layered, sometimes contradictory, fully alive one. You make this person feel that way. And they have not felt that way in so long that it almost does not feel real to them yet. This is why they hold on to everything, every message, every small exchange, every moment that most people would consider ordinary and forget by the following week. They hold on to these things not because they are sentimental by nature, but because each one is evidence. Evidence that this is real. Evidence that you are real. Evidence that what they are feeling is not something they invented in a moment of loneliness, that it actually exists outside of them in the tangible world. They need that evidence because part of them still cannot quite believe it, that is not weakness. That is what happens when someone has been disappointed enough times that even the most beautiful things feel slightly too good to trust. It takes time to believe in something wonderful when you have spent a long time protecting yourself from wanting things. And so they collect the proof quietly, privately. They go back to it when the doubt creeps in. They read it again. They remind themselves, this happened. This is real. I am allowed to want this. And then there is the guilt, which almost nobody talks about, and which is one of the most psychologically complex parts of this entire experience. When someone who has closed themselves off to love suddenly finds themselves feeling it this completely, there is often a strange undercurrent of guilt alongside the joy. Guilt that they ever gave up. Guilt that they wasted time protecting themselves when this was out here waiting. Guilt, sometimes, that they are not entirely sure they know how to do this anymore. How to be fully present in something real. How to give without immediately bracing for loss. How to simply be in love without constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. They want to be everything you deserve. And they are quietly terrified that they might not remember how. That is the confession that lives beneath every unsent message, every almost spoken truth, every moment they came close to saying exactly how they feel and then pulled back at the last second. But here's the deep realization. The one that changes the entire frame. The fact that they feel this afraid is the most honest evidence of how real this is for them. People do not fear losing things they do not truly value. People do not lie awake thinking about someone they are only casually interested in. People do not collect messages and replay conversations and feel their whole body shift when a name appears on their phone unless something genuine is happening at a level that goes far beyond surface attraction. The fear is not a sign that something is wrong. The fear is a sign that something is extraordinarily right. And they are beginning to understand that. Beginning to feel the difference between fear that says run and fear that says this matters more than anything else, and that is exactly why you should stay. They are moving toward you, slowly, carefully, with the particular tenderness of someone who has been hurt before and is choosing consciously and deliberately to try again anyway. That choice to try again when you know what trying and failing feels like is one of the bravest things a human being can do. And they are doing it because of you, not because you are perfect, not because this is easy, but because you have reminded them of something they had almost completely forgotten, that being alive and open and willing to love someone fully is not foolishness. It is the whole point. So when they finally say what they have been holding, and they will. Because the weight of it has become too much to carry alone, understand the full depth of what you are receiving. It will not just be words, it will be the courage of someone who stopped believing and then, because of you, started again. It will be someone handing you the most carefully protected part of themselves and saying quietly, with everything they have, "You are the reason I decided to try again." And there is nothing in the world more sacred than that. Dear soul, if these words have found you at this exact moment, please don't let them pass you by. Maybe your heart has been carrying something you haven't told anyone. Maybe you've smiled in front of people while quietly wondering when your own breakthrough, your healing, or your answered prayer would finally come. So before you leave, receive this with your whole heart. Place your hand over your heart and say, "I am chosen, I am loved, I am not forgotten. God has not abandoned my story. What is meant for me is still being prepared, and my best days are still ahead." Say it again. And this time, don't just repeat the words. Feel them. Let them reach the part of you that became tired of waiting. Let them reach the part of you that wondered, why is everyone else moving forward while I'm still standing here? You are not behind. You are not forgotten. And you are not being overlooked. There are things God is arranging in your life that you cannot see yet. There are doors you haven't discovered, blessings you haven't touched, and prayers that are still unfolding in ways you could never have imagined. So don't give up on your story simply because you haven't seen the ending. Sometimes heaven is working most deeply in the silence. And if this message touched something inside you, share it with someone who needs it. Someone may be watching this tonight with tears in their eyes and feeling completely alone and wondering if anyone remembers what they're going through. Your share could be the small light they needed to keep believing for one more day. And if you feel moved to support this mission of spreading messages of faith, hope, and encouragement, you can do so through a super thanks. Whether it's $5, $10, $20, or whatever amount is placed on your heart, every act of generosity helps these messages reach another hurting soul. May God remember your kindness and pour his blessings back into your life in ways that leave you speechless. May he heal the places you've been hiding. May he restore what you thought was lost forever. May he answer the prayers you've been too tired to pray anymore. May he give you strength for the days you've been carrying alone. And when the blessing finally arrives, may you look back at this season and realize that the waiting was not wasted. You were being prepared, but you were being strengthened, you were being guided. And through every silent night, every unanswered question, and every moment you thought you couldn't continue, God was still writing your story. So hold on a little longer, beloved soul. Your story is not over. The chapter that broke you is not the chapter that will define you. There is still love ahead. There is still healing ahead. There is still purpose ahead. And there are blessings with your name on them that you haven't even seen yet. Keep believing. Keep praying. Keep walking. Because you are chosen, you are deeply loved, and you have never been forgotten. Okay, I'm picking up on a returning energy. Somebody re-entering the picture. So this is not your toxic ex. Only take what resonates, because it definitely feels like something is not finished. And it also feels as if there is something that is meant to transpire between the two of you, something that is meant to come to light. It just feels like your story isn't finished. Two of Swords, but maybe it should be. Let's dive into that. This feels like somebody who very much closed themselves off to love. Yeah, King of Swords, the moon. And you called this person out. Like, your light basically you shined a light on this person's shadows that they were not allowing themselves to see as a problem. Like, I feel like you call this person out. Like, you tell it how it is. You say, hey, like, that's not appropriate behavior. That doesn't work for me. Like, that's not how you build a connection. That's not what this is going to be. And this person, I feel like, has been a little bit unclear about their intentions, but we're going to find some clarity here with the Six of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. This does feel like a potential for a new beginning. Seven of Pentacles, you need to remember how fruitful you are. In all of this, you need to remember that you are the prize, that you are the reward, that you make things grow. Like, you multiply the blessings, my love. You bring the energy to the table. You basically, when somebody comes forward to you, whatever energy they are carrying within them, you as the divine feminine amplify that. If they are coming forward to you in blessings, in prosperity, what am I saying? Four of Wands on the Four of Wands. Blessings and prosperity, partnership, community, commitment, loyalty, devotion. That is the energy that you resonate with. That is the energy. That is the only energy that you can really allow near to you, because the World card, you are building something so powerful in this world. Oh my God. Okay, two things, Ace of Rich. You're going to be rich and you're going to marry rich. Holy cow. Ace of Pentacles and King of Pentacles. You are going to be rich and you're going to marry rich, because it is a frequency. It is literally who you are. It is what you are building within yourself, within your nervous system, within your mind, and your life is going to reflect that. And so is your partnership. So is your person. Your person has their own wealth. They have it going for them. Now, back to what I'm experiencing here, because this feels like a completely different energy, right? So we're going to bridge the gap here, because you might be picking up on the potential of this person, but here's the thing is, like, you can respect the journey between you and this person without bowing to meet them where they are, without taking yourself out of your center, out of your magnetic energy that is quite literally creating your entire life. That can I just say that, like, blessings and magic are pouring into your life right now. Like, you have no idea how good it's going to get, but you are about to see it. Like, you are about to witness this happen for you. When it comes to this person, you have to be really use your discernment here, because you need to be able to say, hey, I love you, but that's not it for me. You need to be able to choose yourself. You need to be able to recognize, you know what, down the line, yeah, that's a green light, go. But what you're coming forward to me with right now doesn't cut it, because the only thing that cuts it for you is somebody that matches your vision, somebody that matches your freak, as well as your finances. And not just your finances, but the richness of your heart, the purity of your heart, the way that you show up and give to this world, the way that you are so committed to something beyond yourself, to serving, to being in service of. You could be a teacher, you could be a guide, or you could just know that your role in whatever community you're a part of is really important. Like, so important, in fact, that God will not let somebody who is not a frequency match remain in your life. And that is why you are seeing this person go in and out, because sometimes they are. The love that you feel with them is so, so real, but you can't let that take you away from what you're truly meant to be doing here, which is existing in bliss, existing in abundance, marrying rich, being rich. Listen, rich is different for everybody.
You could want luxury cars, luxury houses, luxury travel. You could also just genuinely want the time and energy to be able to spend time with people that you love and care for, and also take care of people that you love and care for. Whatever the definition of rich is for you, you get to decide. My point is that your energy is rich. You are extremely magnetic, and you are beginning to realize that whatever that person is coming forward to you with, not a fan. Like, let yourself feel the ick. Like, let yourself recognize that that doesn't sit right with me. Like, that is not correct behavior. You need to go figure that out. Go put yourself in a timeout. I'm going to be over here. I'm going to be getting richer, getting hotter, becoming more intelligent. I'm going to be loving my life. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be fruitful and abundant. And that is the energy that you are sitting in. And it would not surprise me if you were attracting someone new into your life because of it, or just genuinely enjoying feeling so full with yourself. This does feel like a new energy though. So we're going to dive in a little bit deeper here. Judgment. Yeah. The universe is saying, you know what? We see you, girlfriend. We're going to give you someone who also sees you. We're going to give you somebody who knows your worth the first time, who sees your worth, and who treats you as they see you. Listen, 5 of Pentacles, Page of Wands. You're going through a change. You're going through a pretty deep transformation right now. I'm going to keep diving into this because it feels like there's some more that wants to come out. So if you are already a part of the Angel Archetype Society, this will be uploaded in the extended Angel Tarot readings and you will have access to it. If you would like access to this extended reading and all of the others that I post, comment Angel Tarot and I will send you the link with the details. You can also book a personal reading with me, either through the membership, which is at a special price, or just straight through the website that I have linked in my bio. It's completely up to you. So I'm going to dive into this. Sending you so much love.